Happy afternoon. I am drop a comment or like or a thumb or a heart or something so I know you guys are here. I doing my taxes and hey Dawn and I wanted to watch Grey's Anatomy because I heard it's so good and powerful and it was an episode behind. So I have one more. So I have an idea of what it's supposed to be about. Do you guys watch Grey's Anatomy? No spoilers. Please don't tell me I haven't watched it yet. Okay, hang on, Erin. I'm going to introduce you. We're going to bring you on. Hey, Jean. I'm going to come back to your office, Jean. Hey, guys. Hi.
Hi.
Oh, I'm echoing. Hold on. I don't know why, but whenever I go live with somebody else, it echoes, which is so weird. So, you guys, this is funny. I'm doing this a little bit different. I didn't even put a title on the live that we're doing because in the past I've gone live with people that I know really, really well, and I know their story and I know exactly what they're going to say. I'm not doing that this time. So this is like true live. Okay. So this is my business partner, Erin. So if you guys remember Mercedes, am I echoing? I feel like I'm still echoing.
Not to
If I'm
me.
echoing, that's good because I don't know how to fix it if I am. Um, so anyway, so you guys remember Mercedes? She and I went live last week. And she and Erin are really good friends. And Mercedes has been super excited about your story, Erin, because Mercedes is the ultimate skeptic when it comes to this whole reduce your oxidative stress with some network marketing product thing. And even though, like, I understand the whole history of it and how we were once, it was a biotech company that turned network marketing on accident, and we're a publicly traded company and all of that. We have 24 peer-reviewed studies. Some people are really skeptical. And so I wanted to kind of share your story, but I would first like, when Mercedes introduced this to you, were you skeptical at first?
I didn't even pay attention to her. I totally looked the other way. I
Okay.
kept scrolling past her
Yeah.
posts. Honestly, I we weren't really close before. We were just kind of like good acquaintances.
Okay.
Um,
Taylor's
but I mean,
here.
I saw her post on oxidative stress, but I thought it was all sleep related for her and her
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
So I kept scrolling. And then she posted one time about how it affects depression. And I was like, oh, wait, back up. So I kind of started stalking her a little bit more, going back through her posts, doing research on oxidative stress, not really about the product she was mentioning, but just about oxidative stress in general.
Yeah.
I have a lot of chronic illness in my past, and from what the little that she posted or the lot that she posted, I knew that I had it, but I didn't know how I could address it and what it was really doing to me or how it was impacting all the things I've been dealing with.
So hold on. So you dropped some nuggets there. Number one is you already knew that you had high oxidative stress, or you started digging in and realized it later?
Well, when she talked about inflammation,
Okay.
I have several tests that I knew I had high inflammation, but nobody had said the
Made the
words oxidative.
connection. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's important to say is if we have levels of inflammation, it is almost always connected to high levels of oxidative stress. Because I think, and I've been saying this a lot, but I think people hear oxidative stress and it's that Charlie Brown teacher moment where you're like, wah, 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 like I'm not gonna listen to you. And then the other
Right.
thing, and I don't want to like put you on the spot, but I'm kind of putting you on the
You are.
spot. When you said the other day when we were on the phone, and you bring it up again, like you were like, well, I wasn't paying attention to Mercedes because I didn't have any sleep issues. And I think a lot of people aren't paying attention to this now because they're like, well, I don't have migraines or I'm really healthy or I'm sick. Like, I don't need this. Um, so I just want to say, like, addressing our levels of oxidative stress is super important. I shared the other day, it talked about like putting on your seatbelt, like, and it was actually Erin was the one that planted that seed in my head. You guys, we're sharing stories of how that's impacted people when people reduce their levels of oxidative stress, their health is greatly impacted. And Erin has a very powerful story, but if you're healthy, that doesn't mean you should be ignoring this. It's the same reason why you're swapping out your lipstick and you're changing your cleaning products and we're doing all these things and we're eating green foods. Like this is about prevention. And the number one thing, if you have a router in your house, you guys, you need to be paying attention to this. Just my opinion. So not that I feel strongly about that or anything. So Erin, can you just kind of tell people a little bit, like you share whatever you're comfortable with? You said that depression was what caught your attention.
Right. And I mean, maybe I'm predisposed to depression. I don't know, but I know that when I was 20, so a little over 20 years ago, I was diagnosed with something called Chiari malformation. And it's a structural abnormality of the cerebellum, the little mini brain at the base of your brain. And I immediately went into surgery and had C1, C2, and part of my skull removed. And it changed my life. I had 2 fantastic years after really struggling my whole life with one thing or another. They finally recognized what it was. And I had 2 great years. And then the symptoms started to come back. And this particular condition, once you had that first surgery, if you have symptoms again, the doctors just kind of throw up their hands and say, we don't know what to do with you.
And the symptoms
So,
are depression? Some of them?
well, the symptoms are severe headaches, like you're not going to be able to make it through the night kind of headaches. I have bouncing of the eyeballs. It's called nystagmus. I can't keep my balance very well, arm numbness. And depression comes along with this because everybody's symptoms are so different that you're told that you're crazy. So once you're told that you're crazy by so many people, you start to believe it. You start to kind of go nuts and get depressed that you're sick of being sick. So the depression has just been a result of all that.
I think that I've never heard of what you said. I'm sorry, I can't repeat it. That was a little over my head. But it reminds me a lot of breast implant illness. Is I know that there's a lot of women struggling, and I was really struggling with my health. I had all this stuff, and I would go to doctor after doctor, and they had no idea. People with breast implant illness, people have no idea what to do with it. So I relate in that sense. Yep.
I've been all over the country facing, like, trying to find doctors. I've been to Colorado. I've been to the Cleveland Clinic. I've been to New York.
Wow.
Many doctors in Cincinnati where they have experts in this, and nobody can really figure it out. Or if they give me another diagnosis, no 2 doctors agree. So it's just been me kind of dealing with it on my own over the years. Lots of therapy. And one therapist finally told me, you really have to turn over a lot of stones when you have chronic illness to kind of fill your toolbox. And so I've been through every alternative treatment that doctors have recommended, medications that I can't imagine what it's done to my body, the medications for headaches and ulcers and all kinds of other things. It eventually gave me leaky gut. So I have been depressed. And in the fall, I was really in a bad space. Even though I'm on antidepressants, I was really in a bad place. And so when one of her posts said depression, I've realized I need to look into this. And out of all the money I'm spending on things, $50 for the pill wasn't that big of a deal. So I said, I'm going to try this for a good couple of months. And I got it, and I kind of forgot about it. And then in January, my husband said to me, are you in therapy? And I said, no. Well, you seem more chill. And that's when I told him that what I was doing.
Oh, had you even put it together that reducing your oxidative stress?
No.
No.
I mean, it was the holidays. I mean, I just added it to like my pill regimen.
Yeah.
And didn't really think about it.
Yeah. It's subtle. I think sometimes it's subtle, and people want these big. I mean, I think you've had a big change. I mean, I'd love for you to share about that, but it's not always a big change for people. For me, it wasn't. It was very, very subtle. I've had a couple people actually go off it because they didn't think it was working because it was that subtle. And once they're off it for a little while, they're like, oh, it actually was working.
Yeah, I definitely didn't feel any difference. I thought I was still going to go talk to my doctor about switching my antidepressant. And then when he said something, I started evaluating myself a little bit throughout the day, and I realized I was less triggered by the kids. Like I wasn't snapping over
Mhm.
everything. I was taking a second to breathe through it. I was being a little bit more cheery with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's very subtle. And then, but what's not wasn't subtle was that the two kids and then my husband, they all got the stomach flu, like norovirus flu. Like
Ooh.
it was nasty. Every 2 days, somebody came down with it, and I didn't get it. And I'm usually the one that gets stuff in our house. I'm usually the one
Oh,
throat in August when nobody else is sick. I get bronchitis almost every winter. Um, So that happened. He's been sick like every 2 or 3 weeks with another cold. I haven't gotten anything. And I finally went to my doctor a couple of weeks ago and fessed up what I was taking. I said, I didn't want to
yes. Oh my God, I relate to that. Yeah.
roll your eyes at me and think that this is, somebody else is using Google for her doctor or whatever again. And so I said something and she's like, well, let's go get your blood tested. Let's see. And my C-reactive protein came back lower than it's been in like 10 or 15 years.
So can you talk a little bit about that for those that don't understand what C-reactive protein is? Could you explain what that is?
C-reactive protein is a blood test that your doctor has to order. It's just a small little draw, but it's not included in a regular panel. And what it tells is a very general marker of inflammation in your body.
Yeah.
It won't tell anything specific, but it could be used as a clue to a doctor whether there's something else they should investigate.
Mhm.
And normal is 0 to 1. Anything over 3 is considered high, and 10 and over is considered like you have active infection in your body. People with heart disease, strep throat, cancer has things over 10 and over. The last time I got it done, it was 9 for me.
Wow. Wow. Okay. And what was it this past time?
Point 0.9.
I feel like we should have like drums when you say that. Like you guys, can you
That's
just
the
re
way I felt when I got the test back. I was like, I kind of was thinking, well, I've seen the research. I know what it does. Maybe it'll be lower. Maybe it'll be like 4 or 5. And I would have taken that as a win.
yeah.
But when it came back and it was normal, I cried. I really did, because for the first time I felt like I have made a really solid choice to do something positive for myself. And it's not just affecting, I really kind of, in the back of my mind, I still thought maybe it's placebo. Um, maybe it's just a little something different. But that was true validation in my heart that this was working on a cellular level for me. And I've slowly weaned off my antidepressants, which I've tried maybe half a dozen times in the last 10 or 15 years. And every time I end up just standing in the shower crying because I've got too much other stuff that I deal with that I needed that. I'm off of it, and I weaned off of it very slowly to make sure I wasn't doing anything wrong. And
Yeah.
I feel fantastic.
Oh my God.
I really believe in my gut that so many of my problems have been inflammation.
Mhm. You guys like, and this is why she wanted to share today. She is not someone that's out there the way that I am. Fair to say you're not comfortable sharing your story live necessarily.
I'm comfortable sharing my story. I'm an open book. After everything I've went through, I don't mind sharing, but I don't like posting pictures of myself. I'm not really good verbally, like with people. I stumble over my words a lot. I don't know whether that's nerves or because after everything I've been through, it's kind of affected me a little bit neurologically. But I want people to know that this is out there. And if me talking about it, me putting my face out there and saying, this has really impacted my life and my family's life, just ask about it. Knowledge is power, guys. And after all the doctors I've seen all over the country, and some of them are really great, they really had my best interest at heart, nobody mentioned it to me. Even after steroid packs do a really, really positive thing for me, inflammation, I think steroids take care of inflammation. When I get in a bad cycle, they put me on a steroid pack to get me out of the cycle. I respond really well to that. So if I'm responding really well to steroid packs to lower inflammation, and I had a C-reactive protein test that was really high, but nobody put those things together for me.
Yeah. See, what I find really interesting and frustrating and exciting all at the same time is that what we have our hands on, and I mean, Washington State University did call it like the biggest medical breakthrough in something, something. There's some quote that I'm clearly not saying correctly, but this is a breakthrough science. And doctors don't all know about it yet. I'm really curious what your doctor said when she saw your test result come back.
She said, let's talk. Coming from, and asked me for more information.
Well,
So, I mean, she's all for it. They said to keep going. I even talked to my urogynecologist today and told them, and I finally fessed up because I said, you know, we need to update my supplement list. And I said, I'm not on my antidepressants and I'm taking this supplement. And I shared everything. And once I say the C-reactive protein, that gets people's attention.
yeah.
Said, well, whatever you're doing is working and keep it up.
Yeah, good. And guys, just to clarify, I sometimes say supplement too because it's easier than trying to explain, but it's actually not a supplement. It's activating your own genetics to reduce your body's own inflammation. And I think sometimes we forget that our body literally creates life out of cells. Our body is capable of healing itself when it's given the right conditions. And it's just your genetics were turned on. And so that's what I think is really exciting. I'm so grateful. Thank you for sharing your story and your willingness to be so open, and like your heart, like I see your heart is so in the right place with this, and I think everyone else can see that and appreciates that. Is there anything else you would want to say?
You know, you and I had talked about why I'm doing this, and I can't give a lot in terms of meals and running kids around because I'm still physically catching up with everything that's happened. And a lot of my issues are structural, so I can only do so much, but this is giving me a fighting chance to battle those things and to tackle that stuff. But if sharing my story is something I can do, you know, pay back just a fraction of what people have done for me. Don't be afraid to go to your doctor and say, hey, look at this. Is there any reason why I shouldn't be taking something like this? Can you tell me more about oxidative stress? I think so many people are afraid of their doctors. Guys, we pay them and they work for us. We shouldn't be afraid of putting some information out to them and letting them kind of see that there might be something that they don't know. And if they're not responsive to that, or they're responsive in a bad way, I don't know that they're for the right one for us. So don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of asking about it. Don't be afraid of doing a little research on your own.
Yep. And
thank you to everybody who's loved
you.
When I wasn't really like lovable and I was grouchy to everybody. You know, this is putting me in such a better place. So
I'm
thanks,
so
Joy.
glad. I just want to say really quick, if anyone does want to bring it to their doctor, I really would encourage you guys to ask your doctor if reducing your oxidative stress levels would be beneficial. And the place to research it is google.scholar or pubmed.gov. Not just Google. If you just Google stuff, that's not actual research. That's like reading blogs and people's opinions. So you can also look it up. It's publicly traded. If you wanted to check the company out, it's LFVN is the ticker symbol. So I hope that helps. Thank you, Erin, for sharing your story, and thanks for watching, you guys.
Right.
Bye.
All right. Bye.